Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, and I wasn't planning on making a ranked video for this album, but I ended up really liking the album and just listening to it a good bit, so I decided I would go ahead and make a ranked video on it, and actually kind of changed my opinion a little bit of some of the songs in my review of this album, and I figured I might as well do a ranked video on it. Trust me, there's a Gorillaz video and an Oasis video coming, don't worry, but while I am doing this, I'm going to rank the tracks on Ariana Grande's newest album, Thank You Next. So at number 12, Seven Rings. This is the weakest track on the album. My favorite sing sample is Awkward. It's a blatant flex anthem with Ariana completely selling out to the trap production, which does not work on this song. She tries to rap. Well, the bridge sounds decently cool. The song is barely passable in my opinion, and yeah, it's got some weird novelty charm to it, but in terms of actually being a good song, this is a song which had me worried for the album, and thankfully it's the weakest song on the album, with a 5.5 out of 10. Number 11. Is going to be Bloodline. I find that the horn line on this song feels really fake, and that kind of ruins the vibe of the song for me. The rest of the song is okay, and I also don't like the way she goes, "Love me, love me, love me." I don't like that either, so that's why Bloodline is only getting a 6 out of 10. Next up at number 10, we have Make Up. So this is a song where Ariana kind of does some quick talk singing, and to the level when we make up, and it's a cute little song. It's only 2.5 minutes long. It really isn't that interesting production-wise or lyrics-wise. It doesn't really go anywhere, but it's definitely passable, so I'm going to give it a 6.5. Next up at number 9, a song that has only slightly grown on me. Is NASA. Now this song, again, I talked about how clunky it feels with the NASA chanting and I'm in need space, I'm in need space, how clunky the metaphors are in this song, and I still stand by that, but I've boosted it to a 7 because I actually really enjoy it, and it's really catchy nonetheless, but I gotta give the song, I gotta dock some points for just being the way it is, quite honestly. Next is going to be, at my number 8. After the first kiss, took a deep breath like, it's going to be Imagine. Now, this song, again, I really haven't changed my opinion on it. It's still a solid 7 out of 10. It's a solid, decent pop song, but I don't know, I just can't quite catch on if it, lyrics are just fantasy Ariana Grande has with this guy, and I really like the parts at the end where the production kind of goes for the airy R&B flavor and she hits the whistle tones, but overall, the rest of the song just feels more or less of a generic pop trap song, and I'm just not too into it, but it's still a solid track. Number 7. Is going to be Break Up With Your Girlfriend, I'm Bored. This is the closing track. This is a light and airy and very fun track. I'm not really sending a message to this song. She just kind of wants this guy to break up with his girlfriend so she can have sex with him, but honestly, this is an insanely catchy song, and I honestly find myself bopping to it more than I wish I did, and the twist in the video was quite enjoyable as well. Moving on to my number 6, we have Needy. I really like the lighter production on this song, those kind of high tones. Obviously, a little bit of a quieter song. Ariana Grande talking about how she's needy and how she needs this guy, and I actually really enjoy this song. So, pretty solid little tune. Going to give it a 7.5 right there. Definitely a solid song. Moving on to number 5, we have the title track with Thank You Next. This is a song that has considerably grown on me since it dropped. Still wouldn't say it's my favorite song on the album, obviously. Thank You Next, 7.5 out of 10. It's a decent track. And I was saying sometimes I think her writing was getting a little bit too personal and not in a good way, like of Seven Rings, she's just bragging or whatever. But Yeah, the name drops on this song felt weird, but this was a well-executed bit of Spin Control, and honestly, I think I kind of enjoy the song more than I let on at first, so, okay. It sticks in your head. Thank you, next. Thank you, next. Thank you, next. I'm so grateful for my ex. I'll go around singing that all the time, and whether or not I want to, I find the song insanely catchy, and that's about all I can say when it comes to it. Number 4. In My Head, a song that grew on me considerably. I really like her vocals on this. I actually like the production, and I like the message and the lyrics of this song a lot. I assume this is about Pete Davidson, this picture of him that she kind of painted in her head, and of course it was this fantasy that was not true, could not last, and I really think this is a fantastic, fantastic song. I like the little introspection she has on this song. This is an example of writing personal lyrics without it feeling weird or overbearing or like she's trying to. This is an example of without the name drops and all that. I really enjoy this song. I'm going to give it an 8. Next up is going to be at my number 3. My third favorite song on this album is Fake Smile. So, Ariana Grande really gets personal on this track, and I'm all here for it. I really love her vocals on the track, her vocal performance, and saying that she's not going to fake it into smoke, she's not going to say that she's fine, and I really like the sentiment of the song. I like the message of this song, and just kind of hearing her going into some of those issues that she's been dealing with. I really appreciate that coming from Ariana Grande. Next up at number 2, very close to being number 1 for me, is Bad Idea. And to me, this song is an absolute bop. Everything about this song is just an absolute bop. I love the percussion, I love the production. Well, it's pretty light, it can go into some darker territory at times, but I love Ariana Grande's vocals. I love everything about this song. What she's saying about this guy that she's about to get, and I just love how much of a bop this is. This isn't anything deep or anything, but I'm giving it an 8.5 because it's so darn catchy alone. Fake Smile also got an 8.5, by the way. And I love how there's this random beat switch up at the end of the song. Kind of reminds me of the way Sicko Mode pulled those switch-ups, and, you know, I'm always a good person for a random beat switch-up, and I like this song quite a lot, but there was one song which was better. And number 1 song off Thank You Next is Ghostin'. Oh, I wish he were here instead. This is such a light, airy song with a production, but it's got that melancholic vibe to it a lot, which is something I can really get with, and I gotta say, I legitimately love Ariana's vocals on this, and I love that the song, it's very real. It's about being with Pete while wanting to be with Mac after Mac passed away, and a lot of these situations that she's dealing with those kinds of feelings, and part of the reason, of course, her and Pete broke up. And it's just a very introspective song, a very personal song for her, and it also just has a lot of interesting lyrics, and it also just sounds absolutely phenomenal. Ariana Grande's voice on this song is phenomenal. So with that, I had a 7.1 before I boosted it up to 7.3, but still in the 7 out of 10 range for me. Very nice album from Ariana Grande. I'll have to listen to some of her older albums again to really get a grasp on it. This is probably my most listened to Ariana Grande album to date. It's definitely a lot better than Sweetener, which is just a mess of an album. This is the Ariana Grande album I wanted, I would say, after everything. Now, overall, we don't have nearly as much going for it as something like No Tears, but this is a pretty solid album indeed, and I really did enjoy it, so definitely check it out if you haven't, and that's my ranking of Thank You Next. See you in the next video. Bye!